chat room, if I may. Let me, before I grab the lovely clips that our dear friend CSL has picked up for me when he sifts through the mountain of horseshit that is the regular news. I also watch a good portion of these things, and there was a video of it was, let's see, good Lord, I watched all the depositions of Trump and Don Jr. from a while back. Oh, I think I put it in my watch later history because that's the way I do it. But it was Jim Jordan came out and tried to salvage this thing, and I have to say, let's see where this. I'll find it. Yeah, there it is. You prick, you. Here it is. I'll grab this right here and pause it. Okay. This is so this is him. This is straight. Whoops, wrong button. This is him coming straight out of the I guess maybe the James Biden hearing or one of the other ones, or on his way into it or something shit like that. And this is him talking about the Alexander Smirnov arrest and the fact that this doesn't matter to their case. I'm fairly certain this is that piece. Hold on one second.
So I said this earlier this morning, but I think you can sort of tell this story in three parts, three chapters. There's before Joe Biden's candidate for president.
This is a story in three parts. Great. Now, I'm very excited about this. Story in three parts. There's before he was a candidate for president, which is like his entire career. Okay.
Time when he is candidate for president.
The time when he is candidate for president. So before it, when he wasn't president, this is two chapters. It's like an ADBC kind of a thing. There's before he was going to run for president, which is his entire life until he runs for president. And then there's the after he's running.
President. And then there's, of course, the things that have happened, the events that have happened while he's been president.
Now, are we going to make a distinction between the time he was in office as vice president, senator, and congressperson, and he wasn't running for president, and that little window, that little troublesome window where he wasn't running for office and was presumed to be retired and therefore had no influence to peddle, and the time he was in office when he, in theory, could have peddled influence, but there's no evidence that he did, and the time that he's president currently, where all the countries, hear me now and listen to me later, all the countries that supposedly have, Biden by the short and curlies and have control over him and are using his son and everything to blackmail him to make them do what they want, are having a really bad time. Literally, China's economy hasn't done this bad since 1993. And that's, by the way, when it was still, like, horrible and hadn't even had a taste of success yet. Right. So all the countries that Joe Biden supposedly is being blackmailed, cajoled, or extorted by are having their worst 3 years on record while he's president. So I don't know what they bought with that influence, but maybe it's, you know what? It's fifth dimensional chess. I don't know. You don't know. It's something down the line. They're saving this. China is going to wait until they've lost $9 trillion in their economy in a 18-month period. They're going to wait till they've lost 9 before they crack open the fucking envelope or the sardine can of compromat that they have. You just wait.
And I think today we're largely going to focus on that pre-candidate time. I call that the
pre-candidate
money, the business, the brand.
Oh, okay. The pre-candidate time and the post-office time. The money, the candidate, the brand. Okay. You can't have a pre-candidate time that includes him being a fucking candidate. Asshole.
That'll be the focus, I think, of today's questioning, specifically relative to James Biden's involvement with CEFC.
Yeah, call him James, because if you say Jim, it reminds people that his name is spelled J-I-M when they call him Jim, and your name is G-Y-M when Jim. So,
AmeriCorps, there was a big story about that.
Yeah, AmeriCorps, the big Chinese company, the big China money company, AmeriCorps. It's very, it's kind of like the Patriot Act. You know what I mean? They named it AmeriCorps just so you think it was an American. I'm sorry, what? It is an American company. I see. I see. There's no China money at all. We're sure about this. None. I mean, there's got to be some. That none. All right. I've just gotten a report that there is no China money in AmeriCorps. It is American to the core, or at least it was, because they apparently gave James Biden a bunch of money to try to get his brother to help them out in theory, and they went out of business because, because the entire brand is influence peddling. Because what? I'm just saying, in the influence peddling business that the Bidens are supposedly doing, their Yelp reviews must be ass.
So we're going to look at all that information, I think, today. I think it's interesting, some of the facts we've already picked up from Mr. Walker, Mr. Bobolinsky.
You mean the guy that said Biden had nothing to do with her business, and the other guy that was fired by the other guy you talked to?
Specifically regarding the Chinese energy company CEFC. It's like that deal doesn't get finalized until Joe Biden shows up at the Four Seasons.
What year would that be? Would that be before he's a candidate, or after he's in office, or both? Also, you have multiple witnesses of that dinner. What was discussed besides how you doing, how's the fishing? Anything at all? Anybody? Has anyone you brought in? Any fucking body? All of them are under oath. All of them have lawyers present, and if they got stuck, they'd have to plead the fifth, I would presume. Any of them? Do any of these motherfuckers, one person, say he sat down and we gave him the prospectus and he thumbed through it and said it looks good and then left, or took a copy of it with nothing? Hi guys, how's the fishing? I'm headed this way. That was it. As if. And again, what would be the fucking point? What would be the fucking point of him coming by other than are you sure you can get your dad to come by and say stuff? I mean, you know how hard it is to get FaceTime with a former vice president? Jesus Christ, Cristo. I'm still waiting on my meeting with Dan Quayle, which was supposed to happen sometime in the late to early 90s. Hello? Really? I was going to have a meeting with Dick Cheney, but he wanted to shoot me in the face. It was a weird meeting.
Get a drop by and gives a short presentation to all the people there, the 8 people from Chinese executives with CEFC and Hunter Biden and his business partners. So I think we'll dig into those.
He gave a short presentation as he walked by the table and went, "Hi, how you doing? Good to see you." And that would be after. Also, how about let's start from scratch? First principles, as Elon Musk likes to bullshit about. How about we start with this? Do you think it is heretofore, from this point going forward, probably, but up till this point, is it illegal for U.S. citizens to do business with Chinese companies? Because I would like to discuss MAGA merch with you, if I may. I would also like to discuss some Chinese trademarks that Ivanka Trump got after her dad met with Xi Jinping. I'd also like to talk about a little thing about $17 million magically going into an account in China that Trump didn't admit he had, that it never had more than $700,000 in it fucking ever. It gets $17 million in it right fucking away. He takes $15 million out in cash like a broke motherfucker. Can't even leave it alone. Can't even go, slip that into the trust. We'll get it later. I don't need it right now, obviously, because I'm doing good. Couldn't even let it alone. He had to go like, oh, fuck. We'll get most of it. Put it over here. I'll put it in the white suit. Nope. No, you're not going to. So anybody, because that was, motherfucker, that was during his presidency. That was when Donald Trump was president of the United States. Then let's talk about empty fucking hotel rooms at the old post office. Then let's talk about the empty fucking apartment that Yi Jianming, the head of CEFC, paid for in Trump World Tower across from the fucking UN that he never set foot in, but he paid $5 million to leave it vacant yet full. Hey, how about the fact that the biggest Chinese bank in the world had offices in Trump Tower? They're not linked with the Chinese Communist Party or anything. Why would the biggest bank in China be linked with the Chinese Communist Party? Why would that be a fucking thing? And I'm sure they never invited anybody over as spies and went, the guy's fucking president or whatever, and his family meets.
Those kind of things in today's thing. But we'll also look, some of the other information I think is important too. While Biden's candidate, the lies, the campaign, the rigged election.
The what? Oh, thank you so much for noticing the Steve Martin deep cut, Bruce. Well done.
That's the 51 former Intel officials and how that played.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. Fuck. I had forgotten all about that, asshole. Holy shit. Thank you for bringing up the 51 intelligence officials who supposedly lied and said this was all Russian disinformation, and the shit about the laptop and all that kind of stuff had all the hallmarks of a Russian disinformation scheme, because it fucking did. If any group of people, any single group of people has been vindicated in the last couple of weeks, for fuck's sake, it has been those guys who wrote that op-ed. They literally wrote this thing like this reeks of a Russian disinformation campaign. And then Alexander Smirnov gets fucking busted, and that's exactly what it was. Up till like September, he had been talking directly to these motherfuckers. They were feeding him new talking points. All the talking points that they based their shit on, that they've been attacking Biden with the entire time, all through 2020, all that stuff came from this dumb motherfucker, came from this guy, and during the fucking Trump administration. It's so nice to be right.
And then, of course, there's the...
Then what? How can I... So then there's the thing where the guy knew that his wrestling students were getting sexually assaulted by the head coach, and he didn't do anything, and he looked... No, that's not what... We're not going to talk about that today. That's not going to come up.
While he's been president, I think that is the obstruction, the cover-up, and, of course, the sweetheart deal.
The corruption, the cover-up, the sweetheart deal. Okay, asshole, let me tell you something. You should have taken the sweetheart deal. Let's just say, because Hunter Biden's filings since the sweetheart deal was collapsed by Republican pressure is putting the DOJ people who are investigating him into a position where they have to admit fruit of the poison tree, from the bullshit laptop stuff that was posted online, stolen information that they have no source for, they have no metadata for it. So ultimately, they're going to have to adjudicate this shit. They were better off taking the deal. They would have gotten more from Hunter Biden than if they'd had to actually take it to court. I'm dead serious. Like, recently, I'll see if I can find it. The Hunter Biden filing. Let's see. Files. Let's see. That's new. Hold on one second. Boom. Yeah. So he fired this motion to dismiss. And where is it, you fucker? And to Weiss, Weiss said he was denied special counsel. Okay, all this kind of stuff. I want in the court documents. Hunter Biden's legal counsel alleged IRS whistleblowers Shapley and Ziegler, as agents of the government, engaged in a public media campaign to force prosecutors' hands to bring charges against Biden, and federal agencies did not prevent the disclosure of Hunter Biden's confidential tax information, violating Biden's due process of law. So he can't get a fair trial, and he can't get a jury that doesn't know about it. That's going to be a hard argument because they released it ahead of time. It's the irony is that it's let's see, there was another one. Hold on. Yeah, we'll get to that one in a second. Oh, God, I fucking love all this shit. All right, this is the most recent one. I got to find the actual piece of paperwork on it, but here, let me show you something real quick. This is, here you go. This was, I mean, this is old. This is like, some of this is older news or whatever, but this just came up, whatever. The acclaimed CBS reporter who has investigated the Hunter Biden laptop scandal since before she was fired last week had her personal files seized by the network in an unprecedented move, posted Thursday. This is, when is this one? Oh, shit, this is 2 hours ago. Catherine Herridge, who is the middle of a First Amendment case being closely watched by journalists nationwide, was among 20 NBC staff or CBS news staffers let go as part of a larger purge of hundreds of employees. Her firing stunned coworkers, but the network's decision to hold her personal materials along with her work laptop, where she may have other confidential info, has left many staffers shaken, according to insiders. This is like kind of an ongoing part. It's extraordinary. Sources said the network boxed up all her personal belongings except for Harris' notes and files and informed her that it would decide what, if anything, would be returned to her. They never seize documents when you're let go. A second source close to the network said they want to see what damaging documents she has. A CBS spokesperson pushed back. We have respected her request to not go through files, and out of our concern for confidential sources, the office she occupied has remained secure since her departure. So what they're not doing is giving her shit so she can go and run off and take the sources she got using the rest of it. And it's, oh my God, he's shirtless on a couch. What more evidence do you need? The journalist may soon be held in contempt of court for not divulging her source for an investigative piece she penned in 2017 when she worked for Fox News. She could be ordered to pay personal fines, total as much as $5,000 a day. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. The Post, Herridge encountered roadblocks from higher ups over her Hunter Biden coverage, also clashed with CBS executives. This is one of the reasons she was fired, because she was Turley, blah, blah, blah. So they have her stuff. Let me show you this other thing. This is the main one. Oh, this is, by the way, this is, if you'll recall, I covered this when it came out. This is, I think, the thing that sums up the absolute slather of bullshit around the Hunter Biden laptop story, which is, here's how the Post analyzed Hunter Biden's laptop. If you haven't seen my video on this, I break this whole fucking article down. Here's how the Post analyzed Hunter Biden's laptop. Not files allegedly from, not the piece of machinery, not a hard drive presumed to be. The hard drive, which they got from Maxey or whatever the fuck his name is. 2 experts confirmed the veracity of thousands of emails. Yeah, Hunter Biden had a bunch of fucking Bed Bath & Beyond coupons on his fucking, junk emails. Seriously. And you know how they did it? He had this junk email on his included in the files, and on that day they sent out that junk email. Is it that junk email? Did it get there from them to this hard drive, or was it copied and put someplace else? We don't know. We just know that email is is on his hard drive, and they at one point sent it out. That's seriously fucking dumb. But say a thorough examination was stymied by missing data. Hey, fuckwad. Guess what? It was stymied by a lack of laptop, because you didn't even look at a laptop. You looked at the fucking hard drive. Thousands of emails purportedly. Who's purporting this? Yeah, Jack Maxey, that's who. And Rudy Giuliani. President Biden's son are authentic. Let's see. From laptop, President Biden's son are authentic communications that can be verified through cryptographic signatures from Google and other technology companies. Say 2 experts who examined the data at the request of the Washington Post. Are authentic communications. Now, are they to and from the actual people involved? I don't know, but they're authentically sent from one place to another, according to sort of. Were they sent from something else to this laptop? Don't know. They were emailed from one place to another. That's what we know. So anybody who was faking this shit and stacking it together and creating this fucking hard drive, all they had to do was send it from one IP address to another IP address that's faked, and then copy, recopy, and then it doesn't. Right. Verifiable emails are a small fraction of the 217 gigabytes of data provided the Post on a portable hard drive by Republican activist Jack Maxey. Laptop, anywhere. The verifiable emails, the ones you can actually fucking verify, are a small fraction of the two. That means the vast majority of 217 gigabytes worth of data is unverifiable. 217 gigabytes. Fuck off. I don't want to. I did a whole video on this. We dealt with this. So let's see if I can find. I'll go back to this asshole. Hold on. So let's see. That's the because that CBS Files thing just came out. Let's see. Oh, sorry. It's his file for discovery, which is just fucking fascinating. Like, yeah, this fucking glorious. Okay, this is the one where it was sawdust, and I don't know if you know this. Here, I'll show you. This is super fucking fun. First, I want to get the actual. Okay, Tuesday. There you go. All right. So this, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, is Mr. Biden, that'd be Hunter's, reply in support of his motion to compel discovery and set discovery deadlines. I want to know where this shit came from and how you got it. Seems normal, right? In a criminal case. Again, if these motherfuckers had just taken the sweetheart deal, they'd have had more on Hunter Biden. They could have run on it. They could have gone, he got a sweetheart deal and he pled guilty to 2 misdemeanors and this other stuff. And we know he's really guilty because that's how they do stuff. But he's totally guilty. He admits it. Now, that's fucking gone. That's off the fucking table. Yes, I am a little congested in the cabeza. It is true. But I'm okay. I'm sorry. I don't want to make it. You can't catch it through the show, Sandra. I promise. All right. So, the prosecution's response to Mr. Biden's motion to compel simultaneously seeks an unnecessary fight against tangential issues and then avoids addressing actual disputes that have been identified. As one example, the opposition focuses more on what the prosecutors have produced rather than what it has not, and then steadfastly objects that it should not be required to declare that it has fulfilled its Brady and relative discovery obligations. Another example is the prosecutor's rhetoric accusing Mr. Biden of, quote, making a misleading omission and being, quote, dishonest for not addressing what the prosecution has produced, despite this being a motion to compel the prosecution to disclose what it has not produced. So the prosecution is not producing all the evidence that it has or that it alleges to have. And it's supposed to. So and then there's been leaks of this shit from the prosecution, from Weiss's office, that either he's showing it to Republicans and they're slipping it out to the fucking Post or to Sean Hannity or something. But there's a bunch of this shit in here. And I'll just scroll down to show you some of the images in here because it's fucking glorious. Okay, so do you guys remember the original story that I told you about the Hunter Biden laptop? Okay, so there are 2 Hunter Biden laptops. Actually, there's 3. There's one that he willingly gave to the IRS, which they talk about a lot, which actually has real communications that he handed over through his attorneys that actually have his communications on them. And those things were used in the case against him in court because he had to turn it over and he did. Okay. Then there's the magical laptop left at John Paul McIsaac's Mac store, the only Mac store in Delaware run by a guy who knows Rudy Giuliani's lawyer personally, who's a total Trumper, whose father is a fucking QAnon, and couldn't pick Hunter Biden out of a lineup and absolutely wouldn't know the difference between him and Don Jr. if the guy was more than 8 inches away from his fucking face. I'm serious. I'm not being facetious. Literally couldn't pick him out of a lineup at all. Magic. Okay, that we know. We've delved into that. He's being sued by Hunter Biden for for getting a hold of, private emails and nude pictures and shit and disseminating it without the right to do so. And basically as a way to compel him as to where he really got it because he has to defend himself. All right. I will check the Discord because I'm being directed to. Absolutely. By the way, if you're a Patreon, we have a Discord you can hang out in. Defendant's notice of motion to dismiss indictment on immunity conferred by his diversion agreement. Yes, I will get to that in just 1 second. That is absolutely true. And also, hi, Twitch. Hype Train. Don't forget to subscribe because where I mean, maybe Legal AF. That's the only other place you're going to see, and some breakdowns like this. I would love to just have one of the people from Legal AF from the Midas Touch Network on with me to discuss some of this shit, because I do feel like some of this stuff is overlooked. Yeah, drives me a little. So that's Sawdust, by the way, cut into 3 lines. That gets me to the other show. Okay, so we know about the John Paul McIsaac bullshit story and the fact that Hunter Biden is suing him so that during discovery in the lawsuit, he can go, did you ever actually fucking meet me? Were we ever in the same fucking room together? And the guy can go, yes, you came to my store. Really? Can you point out the guy in the room? No, I cannot. Okay, then how do you know it was him? From his signature. What signature? Can we compare his signature to the one you have on the paper? Is it close but no cigar? Right? Okay. It's a bunch of shit. Like that, that's how you do it, by the way. That's why they're doing it. In the meantime, that guy is persona non grata. He's like the Gal Luft of Delaware Mac stores. Gal Luft, if you don't remember, is the Israeli arms dealer who was selling weapons to awful people against the sanctions of the United States or whatever, who was one of the other Republican star witnesses who's fucking poofed out of existence. That's it. All right. What's the other Hunter Biden laptop story? Well, there was another one discovered way before the John Paul McIsaac story. Way before that. Apparently, it was left at the house of celebrity shrink Keith Ablow. And Ablow used to work at Fox News. He was a regular on Fox News. And he treated Hunter Biden for a short time, apparently, as part of his addiction counseling, because I guess he works with a bunch of addicts, and he was kind of known in those circles. He's like Dr. Drew, only slightly more full of shit and skeevy. And so, fuck Dr. Drew, by the way. We'll get to that later, because anybody who will diagnose somebody over the fucking phone on Loveline and talk about meds that's malpractice. Fuck you. Anyways, that said, even Keith Ablow didn't do that. Although he did get busted for drugging and fucking his clients. Okay. So Keith Ablow, Fox News, family values conservative network shrink that they would bring on to talk about how, I don't know, Barack Obama is angry at white people because he's half black and half white, and that's why he has to be so divisive. He's that fucking guy, right? So he would come on Fox News on the regular and talk that kind of shit about Democrats and other. Okay, now, they raided his house. They raided his house because he was allegedly doping and fucking his patients in that order, I think. And he was handing out, prescription happy pills, right, to everybody, as my Yale surgeon called it before I almost punched him in the fucking face. That's another story for another time. But anyways, he he gets raided, and the FBI calls Hunter Biden's attorney and goes, "Hey, we have some of your property. We have a laptop of yours we have a laptop that says that it allegedly belongs to you. Do you know how it got here?" And their response, but they called him. He said, "I don't know why he would have a fucking laptop of mine. There's no reason why he would. I didn't leave my fucking laptop there. That's ridiculous." And they said, "Well, from what we can tell, and you're not a factor in this case. So it's yours. We're not going to dig into it. It may not be yours, but it looks like it's yours. When we open it up, it looks like it belongs to you. So if you'd like to have it, we'll send it to you, or you can come get it." So they came and got it, and that was the end of that. But it ended at, "I'll take it, but if it's not mine." I don't know how he would have gotten it. There's no fucking reason why I would leave my laptop at my shrink's house. Right? Oh yeah, that gets into how they got Biden's daughter's diary as well. But that's by the way. So Keith Ablow is the guy who was treating him for a little while, right? That's who this picture is from. This picture is from messages that were on the laptop, which doesn't fucking exist or whatever, from Keith Abloh to Hunter Biden, trying to get him to, believe in himself and believe that he could, overcome his addiction, because he had a master carpenter dude who was a coke addict, and he said, you're going to have to choose between your addiction and the, what you love to do with your life, the purpose of your life. And he chose woodworking. And so he sent him a picture going, I've made my choice. He cut sawdust into 3 lines going, I'd rather do this. I'd rather deal with that kind of dust than that kind of dust. And he sent him that picture. And Keith Abloh sent that picture to Hunter Biden going, if he can do it, you can do it. He was way worse than you were. And by the way, he has. For all practical purposes, as far as we know, Hunter Biden's addiction recovery has been spot on. I'm sure it helps that his father is the president and he's got Secret Service protection, because they'll run interference. They won't always run interference, I presume. They may look the other way in some situations, but in this case, if your dad says it's okay, Don Jr., then maybe they look the other way. But in Joe Biden's case, no fucking way. So this is from Keith Abloh. This is from that first laptop. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is the thing. This is the picture they did. So they make a point of this. It goes, more specifically, Discovery identifies this as a photo of a photo, which, by the way, you guys know. Fuck you. Like, you're gonna try and use as evidence in anything a photo of a photo. Fuck you. With zero corroboration. No witness that was present. The guy who was in the fucking workroom isn't going, yeah, I took that picture. That was a picture he took of my picture. That's definitely coke, whatever. It's fucking sawdust. But the point is, it's a fucking picture of a picture. Like, oh, if you guys, oh man, yeah, show me the metadata on the picture of the picture, and it's a digital picture too. It's from the guy's. It's a guy. He took a picture from the picture that on his own phone. You could see the phone shiny in the fucking. Look at that. You could see Abloh's doesn't even know how to do a fucking screenshot. At least screenshot of a photo would tell me something about when it was taken. Oh my God. I'm okay. I'm all right. Okay. I'm all right. I'm going to be fine. But fucking picture of a picture, a photo of a photo, a photo of a photo. Whew. Yeah. Yes, that Keith Abloh. Right. The prosecution was reckless in making such a hyperbolic and sensational claim in a public filing, which is where they said they filed this in public. This is, let go. More specific, Discovery identifies the photo as a photo taken in the office of Mr. Biden's then psychiatrist, Dr. Keith Abloh, which Dr. Abloh initially received from a master carpenter, a master carpenter, a master carpenter, and it's not even the word carpenter doesn't start with a vowel. Why are you? Never mind. And later texted to Mr. Biden stating, this one in my office is of lines of sawdust sent to me by a master carpenter who was a coke addict. The message accompanying that photo was meant to convey to Mr. Biden, too, could overcome any addiction. Prosecution does not provide a date for the photo, but the message from Dr. Abloh is dated November 20th, 2018. We have it. You got it. Fuck off. All right. And that's it. That's they presented the picture without putting the text underneath it. You fucking you got to be careful. You got to be careful. You're gonna wake up a certain. Hold on, I'll see if I find it. These guys, you're really pushing my you. You're pushing my buttons. You, a photo of a photo. You're pushing my buttons. They're pushing them. They're just leaning on them. Oh. I'll fucking lean on you. A photo of a photo. Yeah, you pieces. All right. Now, That's just for one. That's the sawdust thing that you saw, where whatever. And the footnoting on this fucking thing is enormous. See this dense text right here? Okay, this is their filing, double spaced, because that's how you do legal stuff. And the footnotes are like, where they are referencing, in public testimony by the fucking committee, where they're just dumping bullshit, basically doing a PR campaign against Hunter Biden in this thing. Look at these things. Look at these bricks of filing. And Alina, pay fucking attention, because this is what a real filing looks like. Okay? You should have taken the sweetheart deal, is my fucking point. Now, I think there's one other picture in here. Let's see if I can. I don't remember if it's. I think it's more text, because goddamn, there's so much in this. Yeah. Okay, so they are requesting. This is the basis of this whole. Mr. Biden does not misunderstand Brady in arguing that he is entitled to material responsive to his November 15, 2023 discovery request for DOJ materials. Documents in DOJ's possession that, for example, would discredit or undermine the credibility of government witnesses, e.g. agents, may indeed be determinative of a defendant's guilt or innocence, and are squarely Brady, meaning he has the right to know the communications between the IRS whistleblowers and Comer and all these motherfuckers. This is exactly, by the way, that Trump was trying to argue his way out of, I can't get a fair jury in D.C. All the arguments that Trump is making, that he's failing at, by the way, because he's president. He was president of the United States, and so there's bigger scrutiny, and so the expectation of privacy doesn't exist, is certainly in Hunter Biden's corner. So, all right. As explained, Mr. Biden's opening motion and his motion requesting Rule 17 subpoenas, certain communications, memorandas, notes in DOJ's possession from the prior administration may reflect the potential actions and motivation behind the investigation of Mr. Biden and the later charges, an issue for which witnesses may be called during an evidentiary hearing. I can't fucking single that out. It's in that's the part where I'm just like, call Trump as a witness. Oh, fuck, I'd love that. There's a very strong possibility that this filing, they're never going to get fucking Hunter Biden with the shit they've been putting out. They're never going to get him inside a courtroom for a real trial at this point. Honest to God, and if they did manage to do it, if they just got favorable judge after favorable fucking judge, what's going to happen after that? He's going to call the whistleblowers, the IRS guys. They're going to talk about how they. Who they talk to in the Congress, and then the Congress is going to be like Comer and Jim Jordan are going to be called as witnesses, and they're not going to show up, or they will be forced to be deposed. And when they're deposed, they're going to say, yes, I discussed it with the president, or no, I didn't. And then they're going to be shown communications that were brought in discovery that the DOJ had to turn over that says, yeah, you actually did discuss it with him. And then Trump's going to be called as a fucking witness to go, yeah, I told him to bring the hammer down on him because I was losing the election. And that, it's just so good. Meanwhile, this dipshit from old Sodomite University wants us to believe that and Lev Parnas, absolutely, wants us to believe that it was the intelligence officials that were lying.
What do you make of the Smirnoff indictment?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. So
it is what it is. It is. It was the arrest of Alexander Smirnoff. It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, I said it was pivotal and the biggest and best piece of evidence that we had, the FD 1023 and the witness himself. Choice.
Doesn't change the fundamental facts.
Yes, it does. Well, all right, I take that back. You know what? He's right. There are no fundamental facts, so you can't turn a 0 into a 1, I suppose.
There are 4 fundamental facts that.
Okay, 4. This motherfucker, he's going to say it again, isn't he? CSL, he's going to say it again, isn't he? He's going to fucking say it again. He's going to tell you matters of opinion and pieces of information are facts or evidence, right? That's what he's going to fucking do? That's what he's going to fucking do. Fundamental facts. Oh, buddy. Say facts again, motherfucker. Say facts again.
100.
Don't you get him right?
Biden gets put on the board of Burisma. He's not qualified to be on the board. He gets
matter of opinion, not a fact.
He gets put on that board and gets paid $1 million a year. Second, as I said,
no. The amount of money he was paid was predicated on the investments actually working out. So it was not a salary of $1 million a year. It varied. He made up to $1 million, I think, and maybe even a little over one of the years. But it was not. They didn't write him $1 million check every year. Shut the fuck up.
Said he's not qualified to be on the board. He said so himself.
No, he knows he was there because of his name. That's different. And the reason he was qualified to be on that board, I'm here to tell you, is because he couldn't abscond with the fucking money. I've said this a dozen fucking times, but everybody who brought money into Ukraine was manipulated by Russians or paid more money to just fucking undermine the energy sector and all the governmental policies and the governmental function, I would say, of the Ukrainian government on behalf of Russia, and they would always fucking leave. Well, guess what? Joe Biden was never going to let his fucking son Hunter take the investors' money into Ukraine and then steal it and fuck off and go live in Moscow like everybody else did. That's a qualification. That's your fucking qualification. Security guards that guard a fucking factory at night don't have to know fuck all about how automation on an auto assembly line works. Nothing. But without them, the gear gets stolen and the company can't function. Do you understand? That's what this is. Oy.
Third, in Dubai on December 4th, 2015.
Oh, it's making me so angry. I almost like it. You know what I mean? It's getting me a little hot and bothered. You know what I mean? I'm kind of getting an anger boner. Is that possible? I think it is. I think it fucking is. Because I gotta say, right, asshole. I got news for you. That phone call happened after the decision that Shokin had to be fired was made months earlier. You dumb motherfucker. Hold on one second. I gotta bring it up. Now they're making me go all Sparks and have to bring up a fucking piece of, you piece of shit. I gotta fucking, this asshole's gotta try to drive me fucking crazy in this shit. All right. Hey, pal. December. Hold on. What did he say? He said something about fucking December. Say that December shit again. Say December again, you dumb motherfucker. Say when?
Third.
In
Dubai on December 4th, 2015.
December 4th, 2015. December fucking 4th. December. Fucking 4th. I'll see your December 4th, and I'll raise you. Sorry, I got a sprinkle. Went down the wrong pipe. I'll raise you November 23rd, you dumb motherfucker, before any phone call is made. This isn't even the original document. This is just the fucking updated talking points that the State Department, the fucking State Department gave the vice president when he was going there to carry out the administration's orders. Now let me show you some fucking words in here that might stick with you a little bit if you want to talk about $1 billion fucking dollars worth of loan guarantees, not taxpayer money. That only becomes taxpayer money if they don't pay the fucking money back. And the only way they don't pay the fucking money back is if they're, attacked by Russia. And if somebody else helps Russia attack them to guarantee they can never pay it back. That's fucking weird. Anyways, check this out. This is the background on what he's going to be fucking saying when he gets there. When he fucking gets there. And in there, if you'll notice, it says, there is wide agreement that anti-corruption must be at the top of the list of reforms that must include an overhaul of the Prosecutor General's office, including removal of Prosecutor General Shokin, who is widely regarded as an obstacle to fighting corruption, if not a source of the problem. This is the most recent update. This is November 22nd. This is the day before. Oh, hey, guess what? They touched on it again. They did another draft of it. You know what it says? Same fucking thing. Same fucking thing. U.S. assistance. Yatsenyuk Poroshenko will be looking for tangible signs of U.S. support to assist Ukrainian people during these difficult times, to facilitate further reforms and help with the reforms to defend against Russian aggression. You will sign our third billion-dollar loan guarantee and publicly announced fiscal year 15 U.S. assistance for the first time, which does not include security assistance. Our support will go to top non-security priorities, including assistance to fight corruption, back up here, necessary to instill public confidence in the government. Pushing forward, there's wide agreement that anti-corruption must be at the top of the list. The reforms must include an overhaul. Must include. And reforms must include. Must is a big word. Must fucking include. I would have just put fucking in there. Just put fucking in there. Must fucking include an overhaul of the Prosecutor General, including removal. Must include removal of Prosecutor General Shokin. This is before the fucking phone call ever happens, you skeevy bastard. Wrestle with that, why don't you, you tit? God damn. Say facts again, motherfucker.
The executives at Burisma, Mr. Zolochevsky, Mr. Pizarski, specifically asked Hunter Biden, can you weigh in with D.C. and help us with the pressure we are facing from
D.C.
the Prosecutor General in Ukraine?
Yes, he made a phone call to ask them to do what they were already going to do.
Hunter Biden makes a call.
And they go, yeah, that's been a thing for months. Oh, they want us to not fire Shokin because they've got him on a short leash and they're afraid that if he gets replaced, then they'll have to deal with a whole new person and they won't be able to buy that person off because anti-corruption's at the top of our list. Oh, yeah, I can't do anything with you. Fuck that. Sorry, we're going to fire the fucking guy. And the new guy that's going to come in is going to force Zlochevsky to flee the fucking country.
Devin Archer told us he made a call to his dad.
No, he didn't. Devin Archer did not say that. Say facts again, motherfucker. Say facts again. It's a fact that they said they were going to call DC. It's a fact that he didn't say he was going to call his dad. That's a fact, motherfucker. Say facts again.
Joe Biden. And then 3 days later, Joe Biden goes to Ukraine and conditions the release of American tax money.
Wow, he just hopped on a fucking plane. What are the odds? 3 days later, his son calls and he's like, boom, I better get the fuck over there. I'm the vice president. I'll just drop everything and fly over there for this trip that has been planned for months as part of a series of meetings that I have been engaging in this entire time.
On the firing of the prosecutor, applying the pressure to the company that Hunter Biden sat on the board of. Those facts, they don't change what...
Woo! He's just trying to, you could tell, you know what I mean? He's trying to get me riled up. Not only were there no facts in those 4 essential facts, but there were at least 3 lies and 1 lying by omission. Say facts again, motherfucker.
Regardless of what this confidential human source has said.
Regardless of what this confidential source has said.
This informant now charged with some of the most corroborating evidence. You said that in an interview last
month.
month.
It did corroborate what I just said there, but it doesn't change the facts.
Well, it's like saying, yes, there are. Yes, we just moved the headstones and not the graves. And yes, there are cracks in the foundation. And we found out today that the foundation of the house was made out of marzipan and damp grape nuts. But it doesn't change the fact that it's a home. But this house is clear.
Those allegations from the FD 1023 are now found to all be lies. So how does that impact the investigation?
I think you should ask the FBI why they were so reluctant.
Oh, motherfucker. Oh, son, they tried to warn you. They tried to tell you the guy was full of shit. They tried to tell you, and you guys insisted.
They told us if we don't, when we wanted to see the 1020, they said this could jeopardize national security, the safety of this confidential.
Yes. You know why? Because at the time you motherfuckers were asking for it, this fucker was talking to more Russians, high-level intelligence operatives in the Russian, he was telling his handler, I'm talking to these fucking guys. It was only after that they found out that he was talking to these guys because they were telling him what to tell the FBI. They were worried that if his name got out, he wouldn't be useful, essentially, at this point, it's true, as a double agent. That motherfucker, if the best thing that could happen to Alexander Smirnov is he goes to fucking jail in the United States and stays there. Because if he gets out and tries to flee the country, he's going to get a fucking Novichok enema.
The human source, you can't know his name. They didn't want to show it to us.
Right. And you guys had to keep digging. They were trying to help you out, motherfucker. It never occurred to you that Chris Wray is a Trump appointee. It never occurred to you that some of them are just going, dude, stop fucking asking. Stop asking questions. No, we can't talk about her. No, it's just not, we can't, don't ask.
Then they finally did. I mean, this is a guy they paid, I think, since 2010. So 14 years they've been paying this guy. And he's a trusted source. And
yeah, it's weird how he was like kind of, on the line as a possible source from 2010, but the money really started to roll in around 2017. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird that the vast majority of the money that this dopey motherfucker was paid happened from 2017 to 2020? That doesn't stand out as him. That he doesn't seem like he was a little plant that was meant to be part of this strategy. And then once Trump got into office, the fucking gravy train started for anybody who would cough up shit, whether it was true or not, or based on anything they could prove or not, on the fucking on the Bidens. Just make it the fuck up. That's your you had one job.
Now we find out. Plus, I think there's sort of the, when Christopher Steele lied to the FBI about President Trump, he gave.
Sorry, how did he lie about President Trump? He didn't. As a matter of fact, Christopher Steele was hired by, I think, was it the Washington Examiner, because there were conservatives who were never Trumpers before he won the primary, who were like, we got to get rid of this fucker. He's a pussy grabbing asshole, and I don't need somebody like that running my fucking party. And the Republicans started developing their own, opposition research against him on behalf of the other Republicans who were running, because they were, siding with fucking Jeb Bush or Ted Cruz or both. Because the idea they were going to have a new Texas dynasty out of the two of them, right? They put this together. They hired him to do this, and then he brought it back, and they're like, nope, we're on the Trump bandwagon now. Fuck it, we don't need it or whatever. So he took it over to the company that was working with the Hillary campaign and sold it to them for $1 million, and they got it, and he's like, I'll show it to you, but I can't, it's a lot of stuff, but you guys should really see this. And they're like, you see it after you pay for it, because obviously once you've seen it, you don't have to pay for it anymore. And so they bought it from him, and they're like, well, we can't use this. We're gonna win. People aren't this fucking stupid. The TYT crowd isn't going to gin up enough bizarre fucking psycho super lefty bullshit to cost us the electoral college, and we're going to beat him in the popular vote. So she's fine. She doesn't need to talk about PP tapes to beat this motherfucker. And then Christopher Steele goes, a lot of this shit is verifiable. This is some scary shit. He took it to the FBI because the Hillary campaign wasn't going to run with it. They didn't release it to fucking Vox. It got out because Christopher Steele was like, this is real shit.
Gets paid more. When Smirnov lies to the FBI about President Biden, he gets indicted. I mean, go figure. So,
okay. One, Christopher Steele talked to sources. Reported what the sources told him. He's not saying he knows these things firsthand. He's saying, this is the scuttlebutt. These are my sources, and my sources say this. That's what the Oppo researcher, that's what the Steele dossier is. Steele dossier is not a bunch of shit where Christopher Steele wrote a fucking affidavit. These are the things I witnessed Trump doing. This is specifically a document of, this is what I was able to gather talking to my sources and years of the intelligence services. This is where I know when, all right, it's a secondary document. And I'm presenting to you, this is information I trust to be true, but you'll have to, you have to understand that this is secondary sources. And he said it. He literally was like, that's what it is. Read the fucking thing. That's what it says. Unlike Alexander Smirnov, who says, no, I talked to these guys directly, and I was there. I was in these fucking meetings. I talked to the head of Burisma in 2015, 2016, while Biden was vice president, and it turns out he never even met those motherfuckers till Trump was in office. That's the difference. I love that, man. I love it when he talks like that. I just, way to go, Sparks. Good stuff. Way to keep it all up in the dome. Sometimes I get my frosting in a bunch over these assholes, and I get all wound up, and I always count on you to kind of talk me down. I appreciate it. Not a problem. Glad to do it. Means a lot, and you're gonna keep playing the clip, aren't you? Yeah, I gotta finish the clip. It's only got about a couple minutes left on it. If he says facts again, I know. Just I'll take care of it. I get it. I totally get it. I get it. Just deep breath. Don't get your waffle cone all soggy.
It doesn't change the fundamental facts.
I know. He said fundamental. Sorry. I promise I won't wind it back. Okay.
Change the facts. It does change the facts. Those are no longer facts. Those are not true.
I don't know who that reporter is, but I love him and I want to have his babies.
Four things I just said, they're absolutely true.
No, they are not.
Did Hunter Biden get put on the board of Burisma? Yes. Was he paid $1 million a year? Yes.
No.
Did Joe Biden condition the release of tax money for the firing of the prosecutor was applying?
That wasn't fact number 3, motherfucker. Fact number 3 was the phone call.
Yes, all 4 of those things are facts.
That's 3. You counted to 3, dum-dum.
Absolutely.
Who taught you to count? Fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Regardless of what the confidential human source may or may not have said.
What do you make of Smirnov's connections to Russians, high-level Russian?
We'll find out. That's obviously.
David Weiss, the special counsel, said he may be trying to influence this year's presidential election.
I will tell you this: Scott Brady, when Scott Brady, U.S. attorney in Pittsburgh, when we talked to him, he had actually checked out the confidential human source. Where he traveled to, when he traveled to, and said that he felt he had the indicia of credibility. David Weiss thinks otherwise, and they've indicted him. We'll have to see.
Okay. What he's talking about there, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that that Alexander Smirnov flew to Vienna for a meeting. The question is not whether he flew to Vienna and met these people or not. He did. He did it 3 years after he said he did. When he said he went, see, because you have 2 issues here, 2 minor issues, space and time, and both of them have to be operating in parallel. You dumb motherfucker. And so if he's someplace, it's like saying, can you be in the right place at the right time, the wrong place at the wrong time, or the right place at the wrong time, or the wrong place at the right time? It's hard to say. Oh, I knocked my earpiece out, but it's dead anyway, so I'm fine. I don't know why this guy won't charge. It's driving me crazy. I'll figure it out at some point. Anyways, charge, you silly little thing. Good Lord. He was in Vienna, Austria. 3 years after he said he was. 2.5. Facts matter.
Biden to be candid today? I mean, do you think you're going to
We'll see. I mean, Rob Walker, when we asked him who the email that he's copied on 10% for the big guy, we asked him who's the big guy. He says, I don't know. So he wasn't too candid. I mean, I think everyone knows who the
Bobolinsky wrote that. That's not how they talk about him. Meanwhile, the Trumps say big guy. What's the assumption that they knew they have emails coming out that calls Trump the big guy and that are incriminating? So they wanted that little thing added.
big guy is.
Right? They like add something in where they call Biden the big guy so that when the shit comes out where we're talking about our criminal activity where Trump's the big guy, because we definitely call him that, it's an ironic title except for his gut. But in terms of his hands and his dick, obviously, it's big guy in air quotes. But let's put something like that in there so that they find it, so that when it comes out about us, it'll go, big guy. I don't know what that was. Biden, big guy.
So we'll see what Jim Biden's like.
Do you think the FBI acted corruptly or DOJ acted corruptly in bringing charges against Smirnoff? Do you think they did that?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I'm just saying it doesn't change the underlying facts.
Don't. Ah! Don't. Just, you're going to be all right. God. Sit. Better. He gets a little, it happens. It's all right.
And the FBI, I mean, Chris Wray didn't want to let us have the form.
Hey, fuckwad. Hey, fuckwad. Maybe he was doing you a favor. Also, somebody in the chat just said, and we scroll back to this, what happened to the Hunter laptop that Rudy had? Barbara on Facebook is asking. Barbara, Rudy never had the laptop ever. Real quick, side story about Rudy Giuliani in his glory hole apartment that we've seen several times. He talks about having the laptop. He's always had copies of the hard drive. The copies of the hard drive that Rudy have more files on them than the hard drive he allegedly got from John Paul McIsaac. The 217 gigabytes of hard drives and stuff on the Rudy hard drives that he was passing around after that Wall Street Journal article, and that he's passed along ever since, have somewhere in the order of like 400 gigs of shit. And he went through it and categorized stuff in different folders. He made folders on the fucking hard drive. That's supposed to be evidence. So, Rudy Giuliani has never seen, held, touched the laptop ever. Now, there is a laptop. Does anybody remember? Hold on. Let me bring it out of the chat room. I would probably do, because we've covered all this shit before. It's really fun. Does anybody remember? Do you remember? Anybody in the chat room remember the hard drive that was found at Rudy's place when the FBI served a search warrant on his place? Anybody know? I'll give you a hint. It was behind a couch. There was a laptop hidden. There you go, Andrea, right out of the gate. Look at that. Tobias got it as well. There you go, Nancy. You guys are so good. You don't even need me anymore. Okay, end of show. You've done it. I've taught all I have to teach, and from this point on, you will build the church in your own way. And now I will just walk off into the sunset. Because, all right, I'm kidding. Yes. So when they searched Rudy's apartment, they had a warrant to get all of the all communication devices, because it was about his communications with Trump and all the stuff that were part of the case that Jack Smith is putting together. So that's laptops of his, right? Anything he owns. anything that has any phone that has, yeah, who doesn't keep it there, Boston Brian? Well, we'll get there in a second. Any cell phones, burner phones, old phones. They've apparently found a drawer with like 4 fucking phones in it. Not surprising. I have a couple of spare phones. When I went to China, I got a separate phone because I didn't trust any of the software on the Chinese phones, that I didn't want to add it to my iPhone and put it on and bring it home with me. So I got a separate phone to use over there. And then I used a VPN to basically FaceTime through it. And that was how I contacted people, whatever. And I'm sure if you're operating in the security world, you do that, as well. But he had multiple ones. They kept them. They kept laptops, and they took his desktop computer as well. And then they copy everything. They do a forensic copy of everything, and then they return them to you. In some cases, I think his desktop, they ended up giving it back to him because it was, or he just had to go get another one. I don't know. But either way, one of the things they found was hidden behind his couch in the living room was his ex-wife's. He was in the process of the divorce at the time, or he'd gone through it or whatever. His ex-wife's laptop hidden behind the couch. He had stolen it from her, essentially, in theory, or borrowed it, and what had one of his security friends like going through it so they could find stuff to give him leverage against his wife in the divorce proceedings. Sarah, a burner phone? Okay, a burner phone, if you don't watch Reacher, a burner phone is a phone you don't need to keep. So let's say you go to a foreign country, or you work for, like, spies have burner phones all the time. What you do is you go to the store, and they sell those like single-use phones where you put a SIM card in it, and then you sign up for service and you pay as you go on it, so that it doesn't have an account on it. You can pay it in cash and that kind of stuff. Terrorists use them all the time. Drug runners use them all the time. It's a phone that is not registered to you personally. That's right. And so at any point, once you're done, or it's been, you're done with it, or somebody's getting too close to you, or the federales are moving in, you just break the phone, snap the SIM card, throw it in the garbage in 3 different places, and there you go. How do I know that? Because I know everything. Let me tell you. Come in for the nugget, kids. Here's another Sparksism. Ignorance does not equal innocence. That it is no defense to go, I wouldn't even know how that shit works. That's stupid. That's I don't believe you. If we're questioning about whether you were engaged in some shady shit, your defense that, like, I wouldn't even know how you would even start something like that is fucking dumb. Because you can't prove it. It's an unverifiable. How do I know you don't know it? It's fucking impossible. Even if I caught you reading about it, doesn't mean you were taking it in, whatever. It's just a fucking excuse. And a lot of times, religious fanatics and other people would go, I don't even know anything about that. That's horrible. And you're like, okay, you were fucking doing it last weekend. Shut the fuck up. So, I am a big fan, as many of you might know, of knowing everything that I can. Which is why, hold on, let me see if I can bring this over here. It's under my shit. Let's see. Try to do this real quick. This is a thing that shoots fireballs that you can attach to your wrist. This is my Burna gun, which shoots pepper balls and the like, and has a laser sight on it. I think if some of you have seen this before, but it's an actual. There you go. And then it's non-lethal. And this little guy right here, see this little watch-like thing? If you ever see me near you and I'm wearing this thing, it's not plugged in. I'm not going to say the. I can spoof Wi-Fi with this. In a Starbucks, create a separate fake Wi-Fi account, name it whatever the fuck I want, and if you sign on to what you think is their Wi-Fi or close to it, like I have, and I don't recommend doing this. This is not a good thing. But you can double O Hal, you betcha. You can set it up so that, it looks like the same. It's more than a cursory glance. right? Yes, I am white hat. It's true. But you can set this up so that somebody will sign on and it'll say, like, Starbucks will have their fucking Wi-Fi in there. And Hal is why you need a VPN. That's exactly right. You'll have a thing, you'll see it when you're trying to sign into it. It says Starbucks or whatever Wi-Fi, and then you might see Starbucks Wi-Fi 5G, and you're like, oh, that's better. That'll be faster. That could be the one I created if I'm sitting nearby, because that's what you do. You find the name of whatever the first one that comes up, or the first two that come up, and then you offer one that's like, high speed or whatever, and somebody goes, oh, well, that's better, and then they sign on to it. And then basically you can just access their shit. And then you put in malware and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, it's not important. The important thing is that for the sake of a script that I've been working on for the last 2 years for a series, I dove into this world really heavily and buried myself in it. And so hold on, I'll show you one other device. Hang out. I'm back. Now, before I show you this next thing, welcome back. Hi, gather round, will you? This thing's kind of clunky looking, but that's what I like about it. This guy's called the Flipper, and I'm not gonna. Well, I suppose I could turn it on, and no. But if you want to look up what this does, it'll freak you out. But it's like it was way upstairs, so I ran. So it's got a myriad of uses, but one of the things this thing can do is it can spoof a car key fob, or a room key for a hotel, or a gate opener. It can, if you have access to it, you know how like sometimes you can take a remote, if you get one of those universal remotes, and you can take your regular remote, you just point them at each other, and the universal remote will learn what this remote does just by pushing a couple of buttons. It will go, oh, it's this kind, and then it will keep it, and then you can use the universal one, and you don't need the old one anymore. Okay, this is for like everything. And what you can do with it is kind of scary. And at one point, there was apparently, and I think they fixed it since, but the code for opening a Tesla trunk was the same for every car. Right? And it was a big gag where people were taking these things, and once you spoofed one of them, and all you had to do was be near somebody when they used it, close enough to where you could read it. And then you could, these guys would like drive around on their little like e-bikes or whatever, and just pop the trunk on Teslas in the rain and that kind of stuff, just to be a dick. It's that kind of thing. So, but between these two things, you could get up to a lot of shit. Okay? Yeah. Now, for the record, I don't use them for anything illegal, and these are for research purposes only. However, I will admit in the case of a couple of times I've been at a hotel, and a couple of times when I've had a rental car, I have spoofed the key on this thing in case I forget it. So I'm like, if I had to share it with somebody else, I'm like, I'll just spoof the key. That way I can start it up with this thing. And just in case. I never had to use it, but I did it mostly just to try it out. But the hotel room, that was very easy. That I could spoof the card, the RFID in that card would work, for the time that I had the room anyways. So anyways, let me tell you, this is why these two things are why I call bullshit on all the Hunter Biden laptop nonsense all the time. This is why I have been unwavering in my cries of bullshit about this stuff. Do you understand? That's what drug users say. It's just for research, right? Do you get where I'm coming from? I know how this shit works. I've dug into it a lot. And that's why I'm like, metadata or it didn't fucking happen. Because in theory, if I really wanted to do some awful shit, shit, this isn't even, add a laptop to these fucking things, or a burner shit piece Lenovo laptop that costs $300. Holy shit. You could be a super, all right, this is what the whole fucking thing about, like, you know, Biden gave Iran billions of dollars, which he didn't. And they used that money to finance Hamas, which they didn't. I got news for you, motherfucker. It ain't expensive. Being awful isn't that expensive. It's frighteningly cheap these days, especially laptop, AI, and these two fucking things. Even a dumb spy is dangerous. Yeah, you can go white hat to black hat real fucking quick. And again, at some point, like, I've been working with my, because I have a 3D printer, and I've been working lately on designing a body for a drone, because I want to show you guys, what it takes. Like, it's taking me longer to do it because I got other shit to do, and I've been traveling, and I have shows to do, and otherwise. But if I spent, a month on it just by myself, I could 3D print most of the stuff I need to make drones right here in my house, with the exception of, like, just the electric. I just need 4 electric motors and an Arduino. That's it. And a battery, I suppose. I'm not going to make my own fucking batteries. That said, I've been practicing and working on that because, again, it's for a series idea that I have. It's an ongoing thing. And at some point, I might Kickstarter a pilot for it, because I have a real strong idea about what it should be like, and I think that's a really good way to start, I think, maybe. Yeah. I will use my power for good, I promise. But when's the sexy liberal things? We can't tell you till next Thursday. We're going to announce next Thursday. I think it's the 4th. Yeah. So, point being is that when this ditzy motherfucker wants to come out and tell you what facts are, Let me show you. You want a simple fact? Here's a simple fact. See this thing right here? This might shock you. This is not a laptop. Okay? We good?